Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Shriners, Children's, Open, DraftKings picks, and preview if you want to get the best stats and the best tools in the game, on the planet, in the galaxy. Well, friends, you need to go to fantasynational.com. You go to fantasynational.com/Mayo. You get yourself 20% off. You know, no one's telling you who to pick on the site, but you can see all of the stats, build your own model, see the ownership projections, and check out the simulator. It's awesome stuff. I also highly recommend you subscribe to the Mayo Media newsletter. That's free in the description. If you want to get a hot link to the DraftKings cheat sheet, the betting cheat sheet, it will all be in there out on Tuesday evening. So it's free to do. You might as well go do it right now. Thank you for doing that. It's a nice tournament here in Vegas. A lot of guys are out. We're the strongest field we're probably going to see for the rest of the season. So we had to bring in the prime time guest to break this all down, and he will tell you to play Aaron Wise and Emiliano Grillo this week. It is Ben Rasa. What's up?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I'm excited. This is probably the Super Bowl of the swing season. We got a good event. You only have to, as you mentioned, we already got two guys locked in. So we're just talking about four golfers today, and that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, just the easiest game in the world. Have some guys make some putts for once in their lives, and we'll print all the money. We did have a viewer, T-Fed. He came second in the big, whatever, the $10 or the $15 last week. 140K. That's pretty good, I hear. Although, had Cameron Tringali parred or bettered 18, he would have won 100K. So that's, I mean, I've never been in that situation before. The only time that I've ever really competed for big money, everything broke my way, and Kadira won and Si Woo didn't win. But you've been in this situation a bunch of times. Like, how devastating is it to go from like 100K to 40K?
Yeah, listen, when people hear it, they're just like, what is wrong with you? You know, it feels awful. It feels like you've lost. It's a terrible feeling. Slowly you realize what actually happened and expectations level out. But at the time, it really does hurt. I've had some, very late sweats that didn't break my way, and it still turned out fantastic in the grand scheme of things. But that does really suck in the moment. And certainly for people like in the milli, when it changes like that, I can't even imagine losing that late. That would really be bad.
Yeah, it's horrible stuff, but enjoy the $40,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a nice consolation prize.
It's not bad. And listen, T-Fed's already a member at fantasynational.com, so I don't need to resell him on that. But congratulations once again. We love to see the big wins here. I won my money back betting with Henrik Norlander because he came in fourth. Cashed that each way for me. Feinberg hit Willett overseas at 100-1. That's pretty good. You say that Trey Mullenix bailed you out?
He did. He had a good Sunday and really just honestly a pretty solid tournament. I needed him to play well. He did. Matthias Schwab on the DFS side of things really, really hurt me. That cut going to -5 last week was not ideal.
No, it was less. I had him too, right on the number. A lot of people had Patrick Rogers. Obviously, I didn't, but he also finished in the shithole at -4. It was nice because we finally have all of our TVs set up at MMN HQ so we can watch all the football games at once. But once the late set of games comes down, just chucked on the Shriners. It was nice to like watch golf again. And I was actually kind of sweating that a little bit. Not that I had any runners because Norlander was done. He finished up early, had a terrible Saturday. Just kind of like Matthew Wolff, who I needed to go really low at some point, and he didn't do that. He was really low on Saturday, but he had made a bogey on a par 5. It's like, man, just birdie that like everyone else does, and all of a sudden you're tied for the lead, and just it was such a momentum killer. But watching T Gala melt down on the back was like, oh my god, like it felt. And it's funny because I laughed him off last week. Like, the only reason people play this guy is because his name is T Gala. It sounds like fun. He's probably some scrub. Turns out he wasn't. Turns out he was actually quite good. But then he put one in the drink on the par 5, and then he missed a short 3-foot putt, and that was the end of him. Sam Burns, mind you. I didn't play any Sam Burns last week. I saw people cash a few Sam Burns tickets, but I feel like even if I knew what the result was, Ben, there was no way that you were ever going to catch me betting Sam Burns at 16-1 in any tournament. Now, maybe I'm wrong and he's like elite, but just that is never going to be something I do.
Talked about that on my Wednesday show over at Osimo. That number was a complete throwaway for me. He really wasn't on my DFS radar, to be honest. So That made things a little difficult. And then Nick Watney, who I love Nick Watney in life, but he also was not on the radar for me. So that, again, the top of the board was littered with guys I did not have.
Yeah, Nick Watney popped in the Fantasy National model last week, and I was going through it on the show and with Axis and just basically like, yeah, sorry, Fantasy National. Like, I'm not doing that. That seems like a terrible idea. Didn't realize he was going to gain 10 strokes putting. Had I have known that, I probably would have played him.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Nick Watney in
7 years.
He was like, yeah, pre-COVID style. When Bud called, like, I feel like him and Bud Cauley, I used to play every week, and now Bud Cauley's not even around, and Nick Watney's not on the radar these days.
I had my guy Nick Hardy in a bunch of lineups, and I was really excited to play him again this week, and he's not in the field, so maybe he'll qualify and get put in. I have no idea how that works. But basically, my entire week was Norlander. I'm looking at the top 10 right now. Like, I played Siwoo, and I played Norlander, and I think those were the only two guys that I had in lineups that finished inside the top 10. Didn't have much Hayden Buckley, I'll tell you that much.
No, Cameron Young didn't make the cut for you.
No, he didn't get that. I like Cameron Young, though. I played him at the U.S. Open this year, but no, that didn't do it.
Yeah.
One of my old favorites from back in the day as a first-round leader bet, Seth Reeves, the Man of Steel. He bombs it off the tee, by the way.
Yeah, that's a guy. I remember seeing his name at one point, but it's been a while. God, some of these guys, it's been so long now. It's like these guys are guys who we used to play. They got kicked off the tour and now they're back. It's kind of crazy.
Hopefully they're all as good as like Lonto and Carlos Ortiz, who I used to play, and they were terrible, got sent back down to Corn Ferry. Then they came back and they were great. So hopefully, I mean, there's a bunch of them out here. Then there's still like legit creative players in the field. Like you could give me a million guesses, like line up 5 people in a lineup and be like, that's Grant Hirschman. I couldn't tell you. You give me a million guesses, I would never get it.
Yeah, see, he didn't even cross my eyesight at any time. So there's definitely some newcomers. But this week, I mean, honestly, this resembles more of like a pretty legitimate field, not a swing season event per se.
Yeah, we'll get better fields at the CJ Cup and the Zozo, but those are no cut events, so they're not any fun. This one's an actual cut event. We got 156 players in the field. It's at TPC Summerlin in Vegas. I guess guys just want to get to Vegas early because I think CJ Cup is next week. That's par 71, 7,255 yards. There's a par 4 that you can drive. Eagles are made on this course. Smiley Kaufman won this tournament back in the day, so it's a lot of fun. It's been a nice breakthrough spot for a lot of young players or like super old players who were once good. I think, was it Super Nintendo Chalmers who won here? I think it was. No, it was Rod Pampling won in 2016. Obviously, Party Marty Laird outdueled my guy Matthew Wolf, who I had a big bet on in a playoff last year, so he won. And then Na won the year before that. He was a UNLV guy. But then you have like Bryson, Cantlay, Smiley Kaufman, like young guys who we think are going to be good. This ends up being their breakout tournament.
Yeah, and you know, this is a tournament. We've seen this course a bunch. Different type of field. You know, you get some of those guys, these newcomers with a lot of talent, or guys looking who are on the cusp. So I like that. I mean, I think there's going to be some names this week that fit that criteria of guys that are on the cusp that we know are going to win. Maybe this is their breakthrough.
There are 6 players above $10,000 this week on DraftKings. Brooks Koepka is the most expensive, the only one above $11,000 at 11-1. Sam Burns, 10-9 in this field. Fun times. He opened at 18-1 in some places, 25-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. But I looked at that, I was like, man, he's the same odds as last week against 20 times a better field. That's kind of crazy. Although his tee to green was outstanding a week ago. Hovland, Answer, Webb Simpson, and Will Zalatoris, who was 22-1 at $10,100. I feel like you could skip this range if you wanted to. I'm not saying that you need to, or I'm going to, but there's, in my mind, better players in the 9s than a lot of these guys.
I mean, you could certainly make that case. Usti, Scheffler, Decky types, Harris English, a lot of guys there. I mean, I'm not just going to omit this range. I don't like Burns per se. Answer, definitely interesting. I kind of like his game for this course. Just super solid. He already had a breakthrough at a TPC, you know, at the St. Jude and whatnot. I think that's a pretty interesting, fair price for him. Hovland's the guy I don't know what to do with. I'd like to play him, but I also don't know exactly where his popularity is going to be and kind of where he is in the criteria.
Yeah, it's probably too early in the week to try to gauge any sort of ownership projection in that sense. But coming off Ryder Cup, and he wasn't all that good. Now he's pretty expensive. I doubt anyone plays Sam Burns, by the way. He might actually be the play this week because you know how finicky people are about not Brooks coming off a win kind of thing. Like it's like, oh, he kind of shot his wad. That's the end of him. Now he's super expensive. He's as expensive as he was a week ago. It's just there are way better players around him that maybe you just try to ride a heater with Sam Burns and keep it going. Although not on Bermuda grass this week. It's on bent grass. So both of Sam Burns' wins have come on Bermuda, if you're keeping track of that at home. Hovland's just been good. Maybe his Ryder Cup performance where he wasn't very good. Well, he was good on the front nine. Horrendous on the back nine coming in anytime they got a lead in the match. But this strikes me as a place where he would win.
I mean, he definitely can fit some of the criteria that we want. Can just get crazy hot with the approaches. Should be able to take a ton of wedge opportunities. Can he flip the putter? I mean, it's possible. It's not the strength of his game, but honestly, it hasn't been a huge detriment long-term. It's more his chipping. And I don't know, unless we get some wind or whatnot, how often he'll even need that here. So I think he makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels.
Yeah, just to look it up right now, scanning through the stats at Fantasy National. I noticed this earlier, but I want to get the actual percentage. The tour rate on your standard event of greens and regulation is 65%. At TPC Summerland, it's 73%. So strokes gained around the green. Well, you could be like Martin Laird last year and be like, oh, good, Martin Laird's gone, and then makes the most miraculous under a tree to save bogey around the green shot of all time. You know, around the green shouldn't come into play. You really do want your ball strikers at TPC Summerlin. And just so I can throw this out here now before I forget, strokes gained TPC, that means we have to play KH Lee. Just keep that in the back of your mind. He's Mr. TPC.
Boy. Okay. I could get down with that. I don't even know. His price could be anywhere from like 8,300 to 6K, and it wouldn't surprise me. I have no idea where he is.
He's $6,700 this week. Although I like some guys in the low sevens, so I am going to play him, but I identified some others before we went into this. Will you play Brooks?
Probably not.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen. It's Brooks. I'm not going to push back if people want to go there. I think for me, just paying 11-1 when I could play Hovland, we play Answer. Will Z, he's the guy that like makes sense in the narrative streets about everything we've talked about. Good players trying to break through. You can get crazy hot with the approach game. What's not to like about him?
He was fifth here a year ago as well, and that's when he was riding that heater trying to get his status, which he never ended up getting and couldn't qualify for the playoffs. He'll be there this year, though. Oh, he's coming off a pretty good week. He shot, the 12 under on Friday at Sanderson Farms.
He putted.
Yeah, he putted a little bit, although all of his best work seemed to come in the one round because I think he finished at 12 under for the week. Yeah, he was 14th.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, but I think he makes a lot of sense. He should be pretty popular, and rightfully so. You mentioned, he was fifth at Shriners, just dominated tee to green ball striking. I don't know why that would change this year.
I guess so. Like, I guess since we're talking about him last, you can probably just project him as the lowest of these guys, but I just don't know what to make of Webb Simpson anymore. Like, what is the difference between Webb Simpson and Harris English right now?
Nothing. They both cost me a ton of money, so that I can't see a difference. It's just guys that I can't get right. I don't know. Webb is just, it's been a struggle. At times it was like, is he injured? Then he rebounded. He got crazy hot with the irons for a little bit. But man, I don't know how you can go there outside of just saying, I'm going to play a little game theory up top.
Yeah, in holes 400 to 450 yards, he's 12th of the past 12 rounds. It's not a huge sample, obviously, but at the Fortnite Open, he ended up losing strokes on approach and gaining everywhere else. It was the driver that had been holding him back towards the end of last season. Then he kind of figures it out, at least to be neutral, which is where ideally you'd want him gaining strokes, but it's Webb Simpson, and he's probably not going to gain a whole bunch of strokes off the tee, but to be neutral with the field, then you allow him with his irons and his putting to really take over. It's going to hit for him again pretty soon. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be the spot. Like I'm so torn. I think it's going to be Hovland for me, to be perfectly honest. I think he's the ball striker I want to go to.
I have no problem with that. Like I said, he checks a lot of boxes. It's very, very good. And it's not obviously there's always an opportunity cost when you're talking north of 10K, but it's not immense. This is a full field. There's a ton of value at the bottom that you can go to. So I'm not worried about clicking Hovland and being like, oh, now I can't play the 9K range, which is really appealing.
Or you could just load up in this 9K range. Louis is 9'9". He was T19 in his first appearance at this event a year ago. End of the season, not making putts anymore. After gaining in like 13 straight events, he lost in 2 consecutive events to finish the season. So you got Louis, Scheffler, Hideki, Harris English, Sung Jae, Kevin Na. See, woo! Kim, who rates out the best in the stats model this week. That's always a fun scene. He's played well at this course over the past 2, coming off a 2 pretty good weeks in a row. And I didn't have him as a bet last week. And then like after the Friday morning, people were like, oh my God, Siwoo's going to win. It's like, man, there's like 2.5 rounds left. Let's calm down here and see what Siwoo does. And then he ended up going full Siwoo on the entire thing. But even from here, if you just dropped into the 8s, you could find players who, I mean, Sung Jae's fine. Scheffler's fine. Like, these are good players, but they're not like significantly better than some of these guys in hell, the mid 8s or even low 8s.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I find interesting is some of these guys, Paul Casey comes to mind, Reed, they're around these prices in majors sometimes, depending on their form coming in. So to me, that is a little interesting. I do like Decky. He can just take a
he's the only one I have starred here, and I was looking at where is the best price I can bet Hideki.
Yeah, I mean, the way he can dial it in, particularly with the short irons, you gotta like it. There's a lot to like there. So I'm with you. Where is he? Like 30-ish?
He's 28 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. He is 30 to 1 at this other site that I'm looking at, and 28 to 1 at another site that I'm looking at. So I'll probably take the 30.
Yeah. Not bad. That's a decent price for him in a field like this. I'm pretty comfortable. Like, watch. I mean, famous last words, but like Burns at less than that number versus Decky, like to me, that's kind of obscene.
Now, how much of that are we putting into? I don't think it's that we don't believe in Sam Burns. I believe that Sam Burns is a good player, but I also don't believe that he's Decky at the same time. Maybe we're just wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the most likely candidate. I just think. That's the only out that I think it makes sense. If you think Sam Burns is that good, and maybe he is, there's certainly been guys, we've seen that with Rahm and some of these other guys that just, it's like, wow, they are that good. I still would rather have Decky in price in the outright market. Really good spot for him.
Are you going to go to Louis?
I may look to him. He's certainly behind Decky. The problem I have is what you said. He masked. Not that it was terrible, but he gained strokes putting in every event in 2021 outside of the last 2. And I worry, what happens if his putter goes back to the Louis of old where it's not a super weapon? So I get it, but I think he's more, if I land on him instead of a priority.
Yeah, the only other one here, and I will imagine he's going to be very popular, that's going to be Kevin Na, based on the way that he ended his season, being a former winner and his Vegas ties. It feels like a full-out fade to me. I never like playing chalky Kevin Na. You know what I mean? I love Kevin Na. I love to play Kevin Na, but it's usually when no one else in the world wants to play him, and that's usually when he's good.
That used to be with Usti, and then he transcended that somehow, but I'm with you. Kevin Na has higher miscut equity than the entire range, in my opinion.
Oh no! Hold on. Look at that graphic and look who's right below him.
Well, okay. I wasn't even counting. I put Siwoo in a different category. But besides him, Kevin Na's the type of guy. The thing I like about him, he wins more often than I feel like he should, and sometimes he wins from the clouds. This is not that though. People are gonna look to him. He makes sense. He's obviously done it here. I'd rather play Sanjay. I certainly would rather play Decky. I don't know if I'll get to any Kevin Na this week.
Kevin Na finished second in 2015 when he gained 8.4 strokes on approach. When he won in 2019, do you remember how he did it?
It was legitimately like 15 strokes putting.
14.2 strokes gained putting.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that when I was looking over some of this stuff. Kevin Na does that though. I will give him credit. He has crazy outlier performances like that. I just don't know if he's popular, that's what you want to chase.
No, I don't think so either. And you can probably take Sung Jae and Harris English for significantly less ownership. Let me look into Sung Jae for a second here, just see what he's been up to. In my mind, he's been playing a little bit better, but now he's pretty terrible at Sanderson Farms. Couldn't hit an iron to save his life. Kept chipping in like Aaron Wise, almost 6 strokes gained around the green.
All
That's
the elites.
But for a while, his irons were really good. Like his ball striking started to come around in this mid part, like even at the BMW when he finished third. Like he gained a bunch of strokes putting that week too. But ball striking, good. Through the Northern Trust, good. At the Wyndham, good. St. Jude, good. John Deere, it was kind of mediocre. Before that, the Rocket Mortgage had a top 10. Even at like Palmetto in the U.S. Open, he was gaining with his irons. That is flipped right now. So.
Yeah, I normally like to target him on Bermuda. Like he's a Florida swing guy. I like some of it, but again, I don't think I need to force Sanjay in there.
Chef Daddy coming off being the Bryson babysitter.
Yeah, I have no problem with him. He's just good. Honestly, I think you can make a case he's every bit of player. Some of these guys north of 10, so no problem. Yeah, he's just got a putt. If he flips, he'll be right there.
And he was putting pretty well at the Ryder Cup. I assume Bryson didn't win that long drive competition because no one said that he won the long drive competition, and that's the only thing that I heard covered in it.
I don't know. I assume he didn't. He made it like at some point into the, I don't know. He was 16, yeah, the Elite 8. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, he was in the final 8. I think he lost to that goober with the long hair. I don't know what his name is. I know Rick was there.
That's all my information is because of Rick being there. Wasn't there a guy from the long drive that he played in some of these events?
Oh, I don't know.
What the hell was his name? I gotta get this guy's name.
Can't remember.
It's like Canadian.
Oh, there we go. Is it Taylor Pendrith? Because he drives it a mile.
I feel like his name was like Sikowski.
Couldn't tell you. I feel like if he was Canadian, I would know.
Jamie Sadlowski.
He's Canadian?
Canadian, professional long driver.
And he played on the
PGA ice hockey player, according to Wikipedia. But I played that guy once. It didn't go well.
Rick is going to be at the Shriners this week. If you hit up Rick Run Good on Twitter, he's going to be lurking around the ground. So if you ever want to meet up with Rick, who's like the world's super nicest guy, you should probably go do that and check out the Rick Run Good YouTube channel as well. I want to give a shout out to Tour Junkies. They sent me this like hoodie that I can wear on the course if it's windy. And I've just been it's out practicing today, so I was wearing it. I was like, hey, I might as well rep it on the show. It's a bit big, but I like my sweaters in golf to be a bit big, whereas I like my like polos to be like skin tight on me. I don't know why. It's just a different feel. I feel like there's a stretchiness to the polo that you just don't get with the sweater, so I need my sweaters and jackets to be kind of baggy, so I have that mobility where I don't find I'm as encumbered with a very tight polo.
How's the game? Are you in form?
No, I played in a charity scramble, I guess 2 weeks ago with Cust and 2 other friends. We did okay. I think we came third. And I hadn't played in a month before that because football had started. So there was the first drive I hit, I just showed up to the course and walked onto the tee and absolutely fucking bombed my first drive. And then I think that was the only good drive I hit all day.
It's amazing how that happens. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I haven't touched a club since the last time I saw you, and it'll probably be that way until next time. So
do you think there's going to be a DFS Open again?
I don't know. We caused a global pandemic the first time we all met up, so I'd err on the side of caution, but maybe you never know.
No, I was thinking about going to Vegas for that fantasy conference in February, and I told Rick like, "Hey, let's get a time. Let's get out. Maybe that's the spot."
Yeah, maybe I'll come out. I love Vegas. Why not?
Yeah. Do you need a reason to not go to Vegas?
Yeah, no, it'd be perfect. I'll stay all the way through March Madness. Just make a month of it.
And just camp out. You'll be good to go. Let's talk about the 8s, because this is where I am by far the most interested, especially from the betting standpoint. You got Paul Casey at $8,900. He's first up. Connors, Kokrak, Reed, Cam Tringali at $85. Adam Scott at $84. Joaquin Neiman at $83. Then you got the Wolfman, Hoffman, and EVR to round it out, $82, $81, and $8,000. I don't think that I would hate starting my team Casey, Kokrak, Reed, Scott with those 4 guys.
I like Scott in the betting market. 55-1 is out there.
55. I saw deeper. I saw him at, he's 45-1 here. What is he here? He's 50 here. I guess 55 is the best number. I thought I saw him at 60. People must have steamed that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, he can dismantle a course, particularly with short irons. The putter, kind of like Usti, just like absurd. Now it's a weapon. So I like him. I got to ask you, and I'm a Reed truther, but I don't know. I mean,
we are in Pat Reed fuck you mode right now.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's the best mode for him. So I really do.
I like him more as a bet than a DraftKings play, to be perfectly honest with you. Like he's 40-1, 45 in some spots. Like that is an automatic Patrick Reed number.
I can get down with that. I mean, yeah, it's got a man on fire element. Hopefully he just goes dismantle mode. I'd love to see it. So I do worry more on the DFS side where you're concerned it's not binary. Maybe a little risk there, but yeah, you've got Casey. I like Scott a lot. Neiman.
Doesn't this feel like a Jason Kokrak event?
Probably, because I don't know if I'm gonna end up playing him. So that's step one for this guy.
He's won me he's won me some nice money, Jason Kokrak.
Actually is, because he's another one. If you really take out around the green, the rest of the game is really strong. Like the putter is not that big of a liability, and at times it spikes.
I like him. I might end up betting him because he's way down in the market. I think he's like legit at 60. He's 50 here. 50. Kokrak. What is Kokrak's
55?
55 looks like the best number that I only have 3 sites pulled up right now, but yeah, 55 is the best number that you can find on him at the moment. So I don't hate that at all. And then Wolf is there. I always play Wolf, so I'll continue to play Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, Wolf is just Wolf's Wolf. I think you can just have tournament exposure to him basically indefinitely. And then there's Charlie Hoffman, who I get. He's been a name people have been really gravitating towards, week after week. A little disappointing at Sanderson Farms. Didn't have much going on, 39th, but at the same time, I think you could go right back to him.
You could. I just like all of the other guys around here better. And
Same.
look, and he won an NCAA championship in 1998 as a member of the UNLV team. He's never really played well at this event, though, which is the weird thing, because it seems to be like, hey, this is a ball striker's paradise. This is perfect for Charlie Hoffman. Then you go look at his results from the Shriners over the years. Miscut, 74th, 18th, miscut, 4th, miscut. Those are his past 8 starts at this event. I do think that there is, and this is where, Brooks came second here once, and I think he missed the cut in his journey back, that I think you want to, now that Instagram is back up, that you might want to follow some of these guys on Instagram because they might go a bit loco in Vegas, that you might want to take like the Zach Johnsons of the world, like that personality type at this event.
Smart. Do that due diligence. So, yeah, that is kind of weird why Charlie Hoffman seems to not like this place. Maybe it's noise or nothing else. I'm not going to touch EVR. It's a product of, there's too many guys in this range, and certainly the high 7s is really my wheelhouse, probably my favorite range of the whole tournament.
Neiman had a bad tour championship, and he hasn't really spiked in a while, but, on paper, bent grass, ball striking, no one's going to use him.
Yeah, I think Neiman is more than fine. The putter really unraveled late in the year. He'll regress. That'll be fine. And he can just score. If it's calm conditions, I love him in those type of events. Really, really good DK scorer.
I like him in like bad conditions as well. He hits that low stinger. If he he did it at Kapalua this year when he didn't practice for the playoff and ended up losing. But I feel like in the wind, and we've seen it was really windy one year, the year that Cantlay won, and he was -9. Like normally this is like -17 to -23, and Cantlay won at -9, and it was like a disaster out on the course with just wind swirling everywhere. I looked at the forecast. I didn't see anything crazy like that, but crazier things have happened. I like this upper 7s as well, but it's really just 2 guys when I look at it that I really like, and it's Streelman and Mito. I don't see, if you were on Mito last week, which I was, I don't see why you wouldn't go back to him.
No, I have no problem with kind of just macro buying on this guy. He's good. He dominates on the approach. The putter, at times can be bad, but he's just good. So, and we don't know a lot about him. There's a chance that he's just like actually amazing, and this is a comically bad price for him. Streelman,
that feels like what
Go
it
ahead.
is. It feels like I don't think it's a comically bad price because of this field. But again, I don't know how. Listen, Sam Burns is a 2-time, and I don't want to keep picking on Sam Burns. This feels so stupid in my mind when I say it, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's my show. Say whatever I want and sound like an idiot. Wrong all the time anyway. I don't know how big of a gap there really is between Mito and Sam Burns.
and I have guys like that. You don't know exactly where they're at because we don't have a ton of data points. So maybe there's also a chance that Mito is just, but maybe he's wildly overpriced too.
True. I mean, we could be completely wrong about all of that. No, you're absolutely right. It just feels like he's very good.
Oh yeah, I think more than likely than not he is very good. But Streelman makes sense across the board. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate. Really good setup for him here.
And coming off a really nice week at Sanderson Farms, gained 3 off the tee, 2.5 on approach, gained with the putter. He became 31st. He lost a bunch around the greens. I mean, that's a pretty standard Kevin Streelman week if you want to win with Kevin Streelman. And he doesn't need to win at this price. He needs to gain from 0.8 to 3 strokes game putting, which he can do. You're right in the money.
Yeah, he should have took lessons from Aaron Wise, who was a domination station around the green last week. Obviously, I like him as well. Sub 8K, starting to find some form. Yeah, what's not to like?
Would you jump on Leishman, who dominated with his irons at the Fortnite?
So I normally I'd be more prone to bet Leishman at 66 than play him, I think. But Leishman's a player. It's just a lot of times I don't know what you're going to get, and I feel like his miscut equity is higher than most guys in the range.
He could be a really nice rebound guy this season, I think.
He's good. He was someone, we do at the beginning of the year, our one and done cumulative. We have that kind of charity event. Leishman was huge for me last year because he has big time events. He spikes at times. I think he could be poised for another really good season, maybe more consistent actually.
Well, this is sort of scouting season for that draft, I think. When I take my loser who earns 30K throughout the course of the year at the very end, I'm like, oh, I won't take established veteran PGA guy who's definitely going to earn 1.9 million.
You're going to pick Thigala.
Man, Tigala's here. I'm looking at the early ownership projections, which are, it's early. It's Monday night. How many guys have actually put in favorites so far? 64 people have put in favorites on Fantasy National. But again, I think it's a good sense of where the eyes go immediately when it comes down to it. Mm-hmm. Mito, Wise, Streelman, and Luke List is projected to be the highest owned at the moment, with Bramlett being 1.6% owned. I like Bramlett a lot. At 72. That's a good price for him. I didn't like him the past few weeks because it felt like his price was just too high, but the ball striking continues to be good. No, he can't putt, but neither can Luke List, so what's the difference?
Yeah, you're going to have to embrace some of that. God, I have a weird, not even a weird feeling. I want to play Pat Perez in this range. He's not going to be owned at all. Feel like he can get crazy hot. A lot of variance with that putter. I just don't know if that's a little too thin. Oh my God, Rick! I honestly didn't know Ricky was here.
Ricky's playing? I didn't know Ricky was here either.
Yeah, I just saw it on your graphic. Maybe you made that up.
Paul, are you making stuff up? No, he's in the. No, I just looked. He's in the field. Yeah.
All right. Well, now I only need 3 players. This is getting easier and easier. Wow, Ricky, times are tough. Seamus. And Griot, what great company in this range.
Griot, unsurprisingly, had a very good ball striking week last week and a missed cut performance.
I mean, the latter part of that sentence isn't surprising, but the good ball striking, sadly, is a little surprising because he had done nothing relative to how he used to strike it for a while now. So, he can't chip or putt, but at least his tee to green, his ball striking was actually really, really good. That's a positive.
He did make the cut. He gained 6.5 strokes ball striking between off the tee and approach, over 3 in both.
Look at that.
That's not
so
bad.
Now he's on the up and up.
We go back to Griot?
Nah, never left.
I mean, I'm going back to Ortiz for literally no reason. So,
God, watch Kisner win for reasons unknown.
There's a couple guys like we just kind of skipped over Willett, who just did win the Alfred Dunhill against a pretty good field.
Yeah, I mean, we skipped over him, and then it's crazy. Like I and a lot of people, I picked Maverick to win the Fortnite, and so close, and now I'm like, oh, that's old news, Maverick. Maybe I should just stick with him.
He's been good, although it seemed like everything really aligned for him in Napa.
He had his chance, I agree.
And he didn't get it. Although he's gained, let's see, in his past 4 starts, I mean, that goes back to Minnesota. He's gained over 8 strokes tee to green twice in that span. Lost 5. Like, in the playoffs, he was bad. Not a big shocker. But in like in the scrub events, he's good. But is this really a scrub event?
I mean, field-wise, no, definitely not. Situational-wise, I don't know how you quantify that. But yeah, I mean, swing season is swing season, but this is clearly an event that resembles an everyday PGA Tour week. No doubt about that either.
Oh, for a second, I thought that Rasmus Højgaard was Nikolai Højgaard, and I was like, let's go all into the middle, but it's not. Although he did just win the Omega European Masters like 3 weeks ago or something.
Who hasn't won that?
Or maybe he didn't. When was the Kazoo Classic? What is that? Do they have 2 of
the
them?
Kazoo Classic?
I think that's the one in Wales. I think they played.
I thought there was 2 Kazoos.
No, maybe
they like ran it back.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, they played at the same course like back-to-back weekends, didn't they?
Yeah. So, to me, my boy Troy Merritt is right there.
Did you bet him last week in England or Scotland?
No. Didn't know he was over there. Did he win?
He was like, I had made mention of it to Axis on the show last week when we were talking about the Alfred Dunhill. I was like, hey, Troy Merritt's playing. He was like 80-1 or something. And I think that he said that he was going to bet him. Then I looked like the first day, and he was in the lead at one point on day 1. And I don't even know if he made the cut or not.
He was good to start swing season, came in 16th. Solid tee to green. Good putter, but he is a good putter. I actually think that he's a name I bought at the end of last year. I'll probably continue to buy because I think he's every bit as good as some of these players in the low 7s.
He was 27th at the Alfred Dunhill last week. That's a lot of travel. Napa to England, back to Vegas.
He'll be all right.
I don't know if Troy Merritt's flying private.
I was just about to say, is he like on Spirit Airlines or is he flying private? That's a coin toss that I don't know the answer to.
Maybe he got on Danny Willett's plane. Who knows?
That's what he needs to do.
Because Poulter's playing as well. I don't know if he actually played last week or not. Yeah.
Holtz.
Bramlett, Ortiz, Griot. Might as well play some hits here, right? I'll fade List. That'll be fun. And he'll win.
Played List last week and I wasn't really paying attention, and I opened it up on Sunday. I'm like, holy shit, Luke List is in the hunt. And then I realized he played 17 holes and no one else had teed off. So
yeah, that happened to me. That happened to me with Norlander. He was just out too early. I was like, does he have a shot at this? Did he have like 9 feet for birdie on 18? I was like, if he makes this, like 21, if all things go wrong, could be the number. It wasn't. It would have missed by 1 because Burns bogeyed 18. But this is the one where Smiley Kaufman shot 61 on Sunday to come back and win. Like, you can go super low at this course.
But can you do that if you're Francesco Molinari?
Jesus. I'll probably play Norlander again, by the way. He's been really good.
Yeah, Norlander has. I have no problem with that. I think he fits the course, too, if you can just find a couple of pots.
What does Martin Laird won a year ago? Stuart Sink is sitting right there. He wins events like this. He's been bad lately, though. Oh, God.
He's been awful. Yeah, for me, I'd rather play Merritt. I'd rather play Lord Raiden, Joel Dahman. I'm not going to get this thing.
How did you not bring up Chuck Schwartzel at 73?
Yeah, I glossed because honestly, I blame that on Ricky. I was so stunned that Ricky was in the field that screwed everything up. I don't know. Schwartzel's, I thought we found something there for a little while, and then we didn't at the end of the year. He was, I don't know. I'm a little confused at where his game is at. Hit and miss, couple bad miscuts at Wyndham and Northern Trust.
Let's see. The last 2 times he's played a TPC course, he's come T2 and T3. TPC Chuck?
Where he's got to be triple digits, right? Ooh, $125 to 1. Okay.
I don't know if I want to.
That's
I don't know if I want to bet him to win.
No, I want to bet him to win. Use him in exactas with whatever's going on in Europe.
Oh, who did it? Sky and Tom sent me. The Europick show is actually out right now already on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've never done that, and sub to the newsletter while you're at it. Where are we at here? Now, for whatever reason, my tweet.
I saw a tweet about Europe from your boy Tom, and it said something about Maximilian, and I didn't know what it meant.
I think did he really want to play? Yeah, he's betting Max Kiefer, so I think he's just all in on Max, Mad Max. Who is?
You know how much?
Let's try to find him here.
Schwartzel Kiefer double.
I can tell you. Oh man, Cormac Sharvin is 500 to 1. Here we go. It's the Spain Open, and Rahm is like plus 200 to win.
Oh, Rahm is over there.
Max Kiefer's 150 to 1.
That's gonna be quite a battle. Him and Rahm duking it out.
All right. Glover plays this course really well, historically. Reavie gained over 4 strokes on approach last week and missed the cut somehow.
Sounds like something my God, his
putting,
everything short game.
Yeah, not great.
No.
Let's go to the. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. You mentioned KH Lee, and I was just wondering who else down there was catching your eye, because you mentioned you had other guys in that same range.
KH Lee in the 6K range, and that kind of came to me as we were starting the beginning of the show at $6,800 or $6,700. Hollywood Hoagie missed the cut a week ago. Gained 4 strokes on approach and was just kind of horrendous everywhere else. I like him in these birdie fests. I really do. He's $6,400. He's a pretty good player.
He is, and some of the stats, again, I think some of these can be noisy, but he's really good at times with the short irons. You know, he gets in position. He can really stick them. So I get how you're there. If he has to scramble, it's over. But as we talked about, you can mask that with GIR at this place.
Would you go to, like, there's a couple names down here. Like Swafford had his run, and he wasn't awful last week. He just wasn't good either. Ari Iggs back down here as well. Trey Mullenix, your guy. I played him at the Fortnite. That didn't go very well for me. But last week, he was a revelation.
I played him at the Fortnite too, and he made a ridiculous run, and then he just like destroyed it on a par 5 for no reason. What about Russell Knox?
Why Knox?
Why not Knox?
But why,
is the real question.
But why Knox?
No. Well, he hasn't been in contention in like 5 years, so he's due.
Okay.
And other than that, he has been gaining on the approach. He's gained in, I mean, obviously we're going back a ways, but he's gained in 6 of 7 there. A short technical course, second shot course. The putter has been positive in 3 of 4, even though the results haven't caught up. I don't know. That's all I got.
The short-term modeling loves Swafford and loves Hank Libiota, who was great with his irons in Napa, but hasn't been able to drive the ball properly since his like mini run. He's just been god awful with his driver. Yeah, there's so many guys like that. They rip off like a stretch of 4-6 tournaments, and then they just fade back into oblivion. I'm telling you, Russell Knox might find his way into like the top 20 card for me this week. How about my guy Hubba Hubbard? He was 16th at the Fortnite. He's made 5 cuts in a row. Okay. I think he had to go back like to the Corn Ferry and try to qualify. I don't think he did qualify, if I'm remembering it properly. Never really played well here, though, is the thing. And if it's going to be like a tiebreaker, not that course history is everything, but down here, you got to kind of pick and choose. Andrew Landry came in 4th last week. He did. He gained a lot of strokes putting, which, as someone who has bet Andrew Landry like an unhealthy amount in the past, not a very good putter. No, that's confirmed. Yeah, I mean, there are names down here. Honestly, of this entire field, there's only a couple guys that like I've never heard of. It's a pretty deep field all in all. You going to play Kyle Westmoreland? He would be one of the people I've never heard of, along with Jesse Mueller. There was a guy last week who had an awesome name. Now I can't remember what it is. It was very Spanish and seemed like it'd be an awful lot of fun to say. But he's not in the field, it appears. We missed her. He's probably over in Spain. I mean, I think he's Mexican, so I don't think that
Oh.
necessarily correlates.
So maybe not. Kyle Stanley's 6,100.
Oh my god. Do we want to do
I
that?
mean, I no, there's no reason to do that. It's just Kyle Stanley. I see. Oh my god. Pull up.
Oh,
His ball striking is ridiculous compared to someone this bad. How is that possible?
because he averages losing 3.5 strokes per tournament, and most of those are missed cuts.
He has gained off the tee and with the approach in every tournament since early May of 2021. That's insane.
Yeah, he gained with his driver in every single one from the Valero Texas Open on.
And it hasn't resulted in literally anything positive.
Imagine being Kyle Stanley at the Valspar and you gain 4.3 strokes putting. The only time you finish in the positive in putting in 16 events. And you lose 3.5 strokes with your irons. The only loss with your irons over that stretch.
I don't understand. I feel like that happens more often than it should. But yeah, that's ridiculous. That was his chance. And he picked the 1 week where he wasn't striking it good.
Tough times out here. Yeah, I don't really love the 9K. I think Hoagie, KH Lee, if you want to take a few shots, go nuts, but I don't really see anyone else. Fratelli, I felt lingered for a little bit last week. Oh, Lonto is finally below $7,000 back in Lonto range, so he's probably an auto play.
Fine. Yeah, I don't see a lot down here. I'm with you. I'm playing Russell Knox. I'm going down with that ship. I don't know. Also, you mentioned at the top, I'm not in love with the north of 10. So maybe I can flat at the bottom and be just fine if I attack the 9s.
Yeah, like if the lowest you wanted to go was Bramlett at $7,200
Yeah.
bucks, and like I said, I don't mind filling up with the 8K guys. We didn't even really touch on Casey or Corey Connors at all. But even if you just wanted to say, you know what, I'm playing Hideki as my most expensive player, and I'll play Hideki, Casey, Connors, Kokrak, Reed, Scott, Neiman, Wolf, and that will be my core this week, and I'll play 25 lineups. I think you could get away with that, and I mean, you probably won't win because if I do that and I do it, I'm not going to win. But I don't feel like you'd be at a huge disadvantage here either.
No, I mean, there's definitely enough win equity there to keep you afloat. Obviously, made cut equity is fine, so I get it. You'd probably have to make some awkward builds if you went like that, but I don't
think so. Let me run that right now. I'll take out Hovland and I'll have Hideki and I'll add Casey and Connors. Let's just see what the old lineup generator spits me out here. Let's go. Generate some lineups. No, I don't want to see the dictionary for lineups. I know what that means. I'm not an idiot. It gave me 4 out of the 20. It gave me 4 KH Lee. It gave me 2 Hoagie, 6 Norlander, 4 Bramlett, 7 Griot. Okay. Playing 35% Griot, but it's like 60% Hideki, 55% Casey, 60% Connors, 50% Kokrak, 35% Reed, 40% Scott, 40% Neiman, 30% Wolf, 55% Mito, 35% Streelman. Those are the lineups. I might just do this.
It seems pretty healthy, honestly. Like it's nice. You have multiple permutations of most of these guys. You're not crippled by any single guy if they miss the cut, and you've got reasonable flyers at the bottom.
Yeah, and there's not too much of the guys at the bottom, which I don't mind. Like I would probably even divvy up. I'd probably move one of those KH Lees onto Hoagie and go 3-3. Move Norlander up to even just trade one. There's 30% Norlander, 20% Bramlett, split the difference and just make them 5-5 and be on my way for 20 lineups.
Or you could add one more guy, dilute everybody by a share, and you're like flatting at 20% across.
Yeah, I could most definitely do that. I think it would probably be someone maybe even in the low 8s, low 9s, maybe Siwoo, someone like that, and just pray it's one of those events where the top guys just don't give a shit.
Definitely possible. It seems like a lot of them are here to get some reps for next week.
Next week CJ Cup?
I don't know. It would be helpful if it was, considering what I just said, but
let's see.
I just assumed that it was.
It is, yeah. It's in Vegas.
Okay.
It's at the Summit Club.
Ah, the Summit Club.
Did I have Kokrak in there? I must have, right? Yes, I had Kokrak. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we go Shriners, CJ Cup, and then Zozo. And the Zozo's back in Japan this year. So I don't know how many of these guys are going to go play that.
That'll be like, can they play and then play the next week?
No idea. No idea how that works. So I saw that there was issues for like fans of the Ryder Cup, like coming over from overseas into America. But that, I mean, you're in America. I'm not in America. From what I can tell, like it's all like whatever in America, right? Isn't it like the rest of the world? It's like still freaked out.
Yeah, it's pretty whatever in America these days.
Like if you were going from Europe to Wisconsin, I feel like it would be the Europe side of it that was like the ordeal to get through. I could be completely wrong about that.
I mean, I could be wrong too. I haven't, you know me, I'm not venturing to Croatia during the week or anything, but I assumed if I did, it would be that in terms of what would be the difficult part of getting back.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some bets. Betting's fun, at least when I win. Sometimes I win. And
Love betting.
Then that's fun. So I will have my final cheat sheet in the newsletter. And I'll also post it up on Twitter and everything like that. But just sub to the newsletter and you'll get it right away, along with some helpful player notes on DraftKings for NFL this week. There is a listeners league. I don't have the link yet for the NFL, but that will be should be in Tuesday's show, or at least Wednesday's show with Feinberg and Cuss, which is going to be must-see TV. I'm excited to film the show. Roz, did you see any of the videos that I took of Tim this weekend?
I have not. He must be. You mentioned that he had tears of sadness. He must have tears of joy now.
He was dancing. We saw his ass crack multiple times because he kept jumping up too high. And he's been dieting. He's lost like 20 pounds. Now his like clothes don't fit, so his pants kept falling down. It was pretty good stuff. Then he guaranteed that the Jets would go to the playoffs.
Oh, wow. We're going there. Okay.
It's Zachtober, career undefeated in October.
Yeah, he is career undefeated in October. I don't even know who they play next week, but I assume they're going to lose.
They play Atlanta in London.
Dear God. Poor London. That's just bad. That's bad on so many levels. How are they doing? We don't need to talk about that, but like, how are they going back and forth?
I think they're taking the bye after.
They always get the bye. Yeah, you're right.
You don't have to have the bye, because I think Miami did it one year where you can choose, like as a part of the scheduling, I believe you can choose to have your bye after London if you want it, but you can decline it as well.
But can you play on Thursday after it?
I don't know about that.
I hope one of those teams has to play on Thursday.
Bets. Hideki, Reed, and Scott?
I like Scott. Definitely like Decky. Wise is 85-1, I think. I saw that somewhere.
I see on another book that I use, Wolf is 55 and Mito Guillermo Pereira is 60-1. I think I'd rather bet Mito at 60 than Wise at 80.
Russell Knox 8-1 top 20.
I thought you were going to say top Scott when it was like him versus Martin Laird or something.
I like that as well.
I don't think that would be 8-1 is the problem.
It's debatable. And then obviously Kiefer in Europe.
150-1. Nicholas Hogard as well over in Europe. Although Guido's like 40-1, I think. You just pray Rom doesn't win, and then everyone has great odds.
Yeah, if Rom doesn't win, you've done your job. But is there anybody else? I feel like there was one other guy that I wanted to. Oh, did you mention Kokrak? You mentioned.
Oh yeah, I like Kokrak. I got 50 here. I think 55 was the best number on Kokrak. Yeah, at DraftKings, 55.
Yeah, that's a good little range, like 50 to 65. There's some good players in there.
Yeah, and Hideki at 30, I think would be the move for me. Not that I don't want to show any disrespect. I mean, Hovland is the favorite. Every book has someone different as the favorite. I see Brooks is the favorite, Hovland is the favorite, and Brooks is the favorite, with Louis in second. That's at DraftKings. At DraftKings, it's Brooks 16, Louis 18, Webb 18, Answer 18. Then I just flip over to another book, and it's Hovland at 20, Scheffler at 20, Brooks and Answer and Burns at 22, and Louis at like 30. It's a good week to site shop.
It is. It clearly, because especially at the top there, but I don't see myself going to anyone shorter than Decky.
Yeah, Decky, Reed, Scott, Mito, Kokrak. Just make those the five. Just go 30 to 60 and call it a day with five guys. It's not even that big of an investment, really, because I'm not each weighing any of them.
It's not bad. I mean, I'm gonna have a couple absolute goblins at the bottom, but other than that, um, yeah, I think this is that kind of event, that mid-range top end guy that can, those guys got serious pedigree.
Keep an eye. When I was doing the research for this, I actually identified 2 players that I really wanted to get on this week, and then they turned out not to be in the field. That's never fun. But Nick Hardy was one of them. And
I played him last week too.
Dylon, missed the cut last week, but the ball striking was off the charts. And normally he's not that awful of a putter, so that could be something to put back on your radar. They're probably not in the CJ Cup or the Zozo, so I guess the Bermuda Championship, the Brandon Todd Open.
I'll have to remember. We're getting into the situations now with like Ryan Blom and the other one. What was his name? Ryan Bloom?
No, there was
Ryan. There was 2.
Ryan Blom, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
You see?
Fuck was his name? Man, I'm old.
Blom.
I can't remember anything.
Blom and Blom. Yeah. Look what I've done.
You broke
Brem. Put it on the. Is that not right? I thought you were going to react. Is it not Brem?
Oh yeah, Ryan Brem. That is what his name is. Yes, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. No. So those 2, I confused Dylan Meyer and Dylan Wu.
Well, Hot Fire Dylan Meyer basically looks like you, but with a giant crown visor.
Yeah, but I still confuse them. And then you've got Brandon Wu as well.
That's right.
It's a really disturbing, like, one-off game. It's why I just play Griot, because there's nobody. He's the only one. You just look for the Argentinian flag. It's much easier.
Yeah, now that Roberto Castro isn't really lurking the streets anymore. Although I did
Cabrera.
I think he's in prison, although he was in some sort of he was in the field of a seniors tournament last weekend. I don't know if he played or not.
No, I think he's being extradited. That was the last I heard.
Roberto Castro tweeted last week. He tweeted at Will Zalatoris because Will Zalatoris broke the course record at CC of Jackson, and apparently Roberto Castro held it. That's why that name is fresh in my mind.
I didn't know that. That's something.
Yeah, you're not on your Argentinian golf Twitter.
Sad, really.
We made it through the entire show, and we didn't even talk about 2 of my favorite people in the world, Doug Gim or Garrick Higo. So I'm impressed with us, me especially.
Yeah, I forgot about your boy there. Higo, I have no clue. Gim, I've been playing. I probably will again, honestly.
What's that?
I like him. I think he's fine. Higo has not been on my radar. I don't know what to make of him, but
he's been bad since he won 3 events in 5 starts. Which maybe he's like Siwoo.
It seemed to be. I mean, I never thought he was going to hit the ground running here like he did after he was winning in the Canary Islands, and now, maybe he's that type of player.
Deeper down the list, betting wise, Bramlett is 140. I'll probably play that with an each way, and then just to back up my TPC statement, I'll probably go KH Lee 175 to 1.
Troy Merritt $150.
Don't hate that. That's actually a good number for Merritt.
He's been playing pretty good both sides of the pond. I don't love the travel, but I think this is a fine course for him. Yeah,
he had to take a boat back. He had to go through the Panama Canal to get off in San Diego to take a train to Vegas. I assume that's how he has to travel.
It's possible, but I'd rather have him do that than fly like coach. So maybe he did that.
Yeah, nice luxury cruise line. Ricky's 100 to 1. He's the same odds as Griot.
It's so probable. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna say anything.
All right, at JazzRez DFS on Twitter, awesomeout.com. You still winning tons in college football?
College football has been great. We're gonna keep it going. Me and Matt Kajeski each and every week. Not just on the DFS side, doing betting breakdowns each Wednesday. So those are podcasts. You check them out in Thursday VODs. So very, very excited for that. Obviously, the NFL is taking over all our lives, but still some room for Saturday football in my world.
I like it. That's my day off. Actually, it's not. I film in the morning, but that's when I spend time with my kids.
I respect that. Yeah, I have no children, so I have to watch all the games.
You can come watch my kids and give me a day off.
I'm gonna watch. I want all these 8 TVs so we can watch 8 games at once. What you got working up there?
Listen, I know you have tons of money, so it's not that expensive to get 8 TVs and pay someone to come mount them to your wall.
I know part of that. I got someone to mount 3 TVs to my wall, and it was actually way easier than I thought it would be. But I want to make. Maybe I'll just keep adding them. Just make TVs on TVs.
Yeah, like I have the big TV in the middle, and then we have a bunch of 43s around it.
That's the way to do it. Mine looks like Mickey Mouse. I have a big TV, and then I've got like two smaller TVs on the sides above.
We'll just move those down a little bit, get 2 more smaller TVs and put 2 above them. Boom, you got 5 TVs.
Yeah. Easy game. I'm sure May will love that, but that's neither here nor there.
You can put one on for golf too.
I know, that's always the best. You get a little, you keep up on the golf. You can watch the ponies, little TVG action. Never a bad idea.
Like I said, Ben Rasa at JazzRazDFS on Twitter. I'm at the PME. I got 50 Millionaire Maker tickets for NFL to give away this week. I'll be doing that on Twitter noon Eastern on Wednesday. So if you're not following me there, you probably should. If you want to get into a draw for a free Millie Maker ticket, who wouldn't want that? It's free. You can subscribe to the free newsletter as well in the description. That always has promos and bonuses and giveaways plus information and my betting cheat sheet, which you probably want to fade. But either way, you can see what it is if you are subscribed to the newsletter for Mayo Media Network and fantasynational.com/Mayo. Get you a discount. All right. Good luck in the swing season at the Shriners in Vegas. Talk to Rick if you're there. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
That Mayo experience! Experience!